Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How are you, my students? I hope that you're happy and healthy and ready for today's lesson, which will be the grammar lesson for today. But before that, let's revise what we previously took, the articles about hotels and traveling, which is the main theme of this unit. We talked about the capsule hotels, the undersea hotel, the igloo hotel. Let's call it the igloo hotel because it's igloo shaped, and the hotel above the trees in Brazil. So we were talking about hotels. Then we discussed this question or answered this question together, that you're designing your own unusual hotel, that you set your imagination free and come up with the unique hotel ideas. Brainstorm it maybe with your friends. And I came up with these ideas: water slide, cinema, library, football pitch. And I told you that these questions will help you maybe in this task. For example, the question here: where is the hotel? How large is it? What attractions does it have? What makes it the hotel? What makes it unique? And we answered these together. Maybe your answers differ than mine, so it's okay. So let's jump to today's lesson. These are the lesson objectives here. Classify the adverbs according to their degree. So we'll be studying about adverbs. Rewrite sentences using adverbs of degree. Indicate an attitude with sentence adverbs. Use sentence adverbs correctly. Use adverbs of degree with adjectives. Use adverbs of degree with adverbs. Use enough, the word enough, with adverbs of degree. Use sentence adverbs with simple tenses. And we use sentence adverbs with compound verbs. So we'll be talking a lot of adverbs and the adverbs of degree today. So this is today's lesson, grammar, as I said before. Adverbs of degree. So let's begin. Adverbs of degree tell us about the intensity of a verb, adjective, or other adverbs. Again, adverbs of degree tell us about the intensity of the verb, adjective, or other adverbs. Some common adverbs of degree are absolutely, almost, barely, completely, enough, extremely, hardly, just, nearly, quite, rather, scarcely, so, to, and very. So these are some examples or the common adverbs of degree. And again, the adverbs of degree shows the intensity of a verb or an adjective. For example, when you say this house is big, this is an adjective, big. But when you want to intensify it, the house is very big. So the adverbs of degree shows us the intensity, that the house is big, or is it very big, or is it too big? So we'll be studying that today. The adverbs of degree usually go before the main verb. They modify it. You put it before the main verb that it modifies. I've almost finished packing. I've almost finished packing. Am I finished packing? No, I'm almost. Just give me 1 minute. I've almost finished packing. I nearly missed my flight. I nearly missed my flight. So you can see here the main verb finished and missed. We put the adverb of degree before the main verb. I nearly missed my flight. Did I miss it? No, I just nearly missed my flight. Again here, the adverbs of degree usually go before the adjective or adverb they modify. So if you're talking about an adjective or an adverb, just like the main verb, we put it before it. Again, the adverbs of degree usually go before the adjectives or the adverb that it modifies. The travel agent was extremely helpful. The travel agent, the employee there, he was extremely helpful. He did many things for me. The travel agent was extremely helpful. If he did one or two things, I would say he was helpful, I want to thank him. But when I say he was extremely helpful, it means that he did too many things to me. He made it easier for me. He read the map very carefully. He read the map very carefully. So he paid attention to details. He read the map step by step, location by location. So he was thorough in his reading to the map very carefully. And if you see here, extremely and very, it goes before the adjective or the adverb. Extremely helpful, very carefully. When enough is used as an adverb of degree, it is placed after adjectives and adverbs. When you want to use enough as an adverb of degree, you put it after the adjective or the adverb, after the adjective or the adverb, not the verb. For example, here, is your coffee hot enough? Is your coffee hot enough? You are not speaking loudly enough. Let's take the first example. Is your coffee hot enough? The coffee is hot. For example, you will go to a cafe and the bartender there gives you the coffee and he asks you, is it hot enough? It's hot, but is it hot enough for you? Maybe you want it to be extra hot. Is it hot enough? Yes or no? The other example here, you're not speaking loudly enough. You're not speaking loudly enough. For example, you are at a meeting and you are at the end of the table and you tell the instructor, excuse me, you're not speaking loudly enough. I can't hear you. You are speaking loudly, okay, but it's not loudly enough. I can't hear you at the end of the table. And pay attention that the word enough comes after the adjective or the adverb, if it is used as an adverb of degree. So what is the difference between to and very? We know that they both are intensifiers. When you say for another example, the car is expensive. This is an adjective, expensive. So what's the difference when you say the car is very expensive or the car is too expensive? They both do the same thing. They intensify the adjective expensive, but there's a slight difference between them. Very simply means extremely. To means more than is necessary or desirable. For example, the hotel is very expensive, but we're going to stay there. So when you say something is very expensive, it's very expensive, but I can buy it. I can book the hotel. I know it's very expensive. It's extremely expensive, but I can manage. I have the money to go there. But when you say the hotel is too expensive, we can't stay there. When you say the car or the hotel is too expensive, it means I can't pay the money that they want. It's too expensive for me. It's too expensive for me. For example, when you want to go to a restaurant before it closes at night, when you say I was very late, it means you were late, but you made it. At least you made it. When you say I was too late, it means that you arrived to the restaurant while it was closed. So this is the difference between very and to. Of course, you know now that to is a little bit stronger, more intensified than very. Sentence adverbs. Sentence adverbs. Sentence adverbs modify an entire sentence or a whole clause within a sentence. Again, from the word sentence, it deals with sentences. Sentence adverbs modify an entire sentence or a whole clause within a sentence. They indicate the attitude of the speaker. Some common sentence adverbs are actually, certainly, frankly, obviously, probably, admittedly, clearly, honestly, officially, undoubtedly, apparently, evidently, naturally, presumably, fortunately, or unfortunately. These are the sentence of adverbs. Let's read it again. Sentence adverbs modify an entire sentence, not just one word or two, the entire sentence or the whole clause within a sentence. They indicate the attitude of the speaker. So they are related to the attitude of the speaker, the person who is saying it. Sentence adverbs, the one that had the marks on it, some sentence adverbs usually go at the beginning of a sentence. Some of them, the word that had this mark on them, the star mark here, some sentence adverbs usually go at the beginning of a sentence. For example here, frankly, I'm disappointed in the quality of this hotel. You can begin the sentence with the sentence adverb here, frankly. For example, when you say, honestly, I don't think that he is good. You're being honest here. This describes your attitude. So adverbs, sentence adverbs are related to the speaker's attitude, as I mentioned earlier. Frankly, I'm disappointed in the quality of this hotel. Other sentence adverbs can go after the verb be, before simple tenses of other verbs, or after the auxiliary in a compound verb. Again, other sentence adverbs can go before the verb be, before simple tenses of other verbs, or the auxiliary, or after the auxiliary verb in a compound verb. Let's take some examples here. You are obviously having a good time. You are obviously having a good time. You can say you're having a good time, but when you add the sentence adverb here, obviously, it gives more meaning. It can explain your attitude more. Obviously, something that is very obvious to the speaker here. You're obviously having a good time. He certainly spent a lot of money on this trip. He certainly spent a lot of money on this trip. Certainly, it means something that you are sure about, you are certain about. You say it like this. He certainly spent a lot of money on this trip. When you know someone is coming, you say, I know him. He is certainly coming. The flight has undoubtedly left by now. The flight has undoubtedly left by now. Undoubtedly, it means without a doubt. Without a doubt is something that you are sure about. For example, this flight here, it was scheduled to leave at 3 p.m. and now it's 3:30. So now you are very sure that it has left. So that's why we say here, the flight has undoubtedly, without a doubt. I don't have any doubts that by now the flight has left. Find more examples in the articles on page 34 and 35. If you remember the articles that we took before regarding the hotels, let's now read them together. Let's get back to them together and try to find more examples there. So let's listen to them again. Let's listen to them again and try to find one or two examples in each. Let's listen.
Jules Undersea Lodge, Florida, USA. Undoubtedly, most people have never been to a hotel like Jules Undersea Lodge before. This extremely unusual hotel, located in Key Largo, Florida, is on the ocean floor. Guests scuba dive to the hotel's one unit, which is over 19 feet, 6 meters, below the surface. The unit includes 2 bedrooms, a television, and 50-inch, 127-centimeter, circular windows that offer views of passing sea life.
So this is the first article here. Can you give me an example? Yes, it's the first word here. Undoubtedly, again, as I mentioned before, it means without a doubt. Most people have never been to a hotel like Jules. It means that you are very sure, very certain of something. When you say undoubtedly, he's very sure that people has never been to a hotel under the sea. The other article here, let's listen to it.
Arraial Amazon Towers Hotel Manaus, Brazil. Arraial Amazon Towers Hotel in Manaus, Brazil, is the world's largest commercial tree house. Amazingly, Arraial's towers are built at the level of the rainforest treetops, about 72 feet, 22 meters, in the air. The towers are linked together by 4 miles, 6 kilometers, of wooden catwalks. This very unusual setting gives guests the unique opportunity to experience the plant and animal life of the rainforest canopy while leaving the rainforest's ecosystem undisturbed.
So, where's the example in this article here? Yes, very good. Amazingly. Amazingly, it means from the word itself that is something amazing. You are amazed by what you have seen. Amazingly, Arias Towers are built at the level of the rainforest treetops. So he was amazed that the hotel is above the trees. The last article here, the one in Finland, let's listen to it and try to find the example.
The Kakslotinen Hotel, Lapland, Finland. In the heart of Finnish Lapland, 155 miles, 250 kilometers, north of the Arctic Circle, lies a truly magical place. The Kakslotinen Hotel offers guests the opportunity to stay overnight in either a snow or glass igloo. Those who choose the glass igloos can enjoy the night skies and the stunning northern lights from the comfort of their own bed. Luckily, the hotel provides cozy, extra warm sleeping bags for the guests who choose to sleep in snow igloos.
So in this article here, can you search for the example here? Okay, let's find it together. It's the word luckily. Luckily. From the word luck. Luckily, fortunately. Here, luckily, the hotel provides cozy, extra warm sleeping bags. If you want to sleep, of course, in the snow igloo. So rewrite each sentence to include the adverb of degree. We have some sentences here, and we have to add the adverb of degree. You can see the first one is already done for us. We have recovered from our trip, and we have to add the word almost. So we have almost recovered from our trip. Number one, we ate anything on the airplane. And and here the adverb of the degree, hardly. We ate anything on the airplane, and we want to add the word hardly. Okay, let's check the answer. We hardly ate anything on the airplane. So it comes before the verb. We hardly ate anything on the airplane. So hardly ate, does it mean that we ate a lot or just ate a few things? Or did we eat at all? Yes, that's correct. We did eat, but just eat little. Just ate a little. We hardly ate, maybe just one or two things. We hardly ate anything on the airplane. Number two, the food was bland for me. The food was bland for me. And the adverb to. And the adverb to. Yes, this is an easy one, of course. The food was too bland for me. The food was too bland for me. Number three, the flight attendant dropped my meal on me. The flight attendant, when she was or he was bringing the meal, dropped my meal on me. And the adverb nearly. And the adverb nearly. Yes, very good. The flight attendant nearly dropped. It comes before the verb. Nearly dropped my meal on me. So when nearly comes before the verb, did the verb happen? No. Very good. It almost happened. The flight attendant nearly dropped my meal on me. Number four, sleeping on the train was uncomfortable. Sleeping on the train was uncomfortable. And the verb rather. And the adverb rather. So, yes, this is very obvious. We put it before the adjective here. Sleeping on the train was rather uncomfortable. Number five, we were exhausted by the end of our trip. And the adverb absolutely. And the adverb absolutely. We were exhausted by the end of our trip. You can search here for the adverb or the adjective, or maybe it's a verb. Yes, this is very obvious here. We were absolutely exhausted by the end of our trip. Absolutely, which is the equivalent of very exhausted. Absolutely exhausted by the end of our trip. Number six, the airplane seat wasn't big for me. the airplane seat wasn't big for me, and the adverb enough. Remember, enough, do we put it before or after the adjective or the adverb? Okay, let's check the answer. The airplane seat wasn't big enough for me. Here it came after the adjective big. The airplane seat wasn't big enough for me. It wasn't big enough for me. Maybe it was a child seat, so it wasn't big enough for me. Very good. Complete the paragraph with the sentence adverbs from the box. Sometimes more than one answer is possible, so we'll be talking about Abraj Mecca here. Actually, indeed, obviously, probably, however, interestingly, presumably, and surprisingly. We'll read it again. Actually, indeed, obviously, probably, however, interestingly, presumably, and surprisingly. So let's fill the gaps here with the correct adverb from the box. Let's read together. Staying in the Abraj Al Bayt Hotel in Mecca, Saudi Arabia, is an amazing experience. It is a complex of 7 skyscraper hotels. 7 skyscraper hotels. The word skyscraper, it means a very high building. It's a very high building. So number 1. Very good. Actually, it's a complex of 7 skyscrapers hotels. You use the adverb actually when you want to give a fact about something. People think that is just one skyscraper, Abraj Al Bayt. No, it's 7 skyscrapers. Number 2, the Central Hotel Tower has the world's largest clock face. So number 2 is very good. Surprisingly, from the word itself, surprise, you are surprised here. Surprisingly, the Central Hotel Tower has the world's largest clock face. And 3, the tallest tower in the complex is number 4. So let's get back to number 3. And very good. Interestingly, the tallest tower in the complex is very good. Indeed, the tallest building in Saudi Arabia. So indeed, you say it when you are sure of something. Indeed, the tallest building in Saudi Arabia. With a height of 601 meters, the hotel is very close to Islam's most sacred site, the Great Mosque of Mecca. The hotel complex was, then here the 5th gap, built to accommodate pilgrims of the Hajj that visit Mecca every year from all parts of the Muslim world. So number 5, the hotel complex was obviously, so something very obvious, everyone can see why. The hotel complex was obviously built to accommodate pilgrims of the Hajj that visit Mecca every year from all parts of the Muslim world. And number 6 is, however, it also welcomes visitors to Mecca throughout the year. Even though the greatest concentration of visitors is most, and number 7, during the Hajj. Again, even though the greatest concentration of visitors is most, number 7, probably during the Hajj. Probably it means that you are not 100% sure of something, so you say probably, most likely. The Abraj Al Bayt has 5-story shopping mall and a parking garage capable of holding over 1,000 vehicles. Number 8, both for the visitors of the mall and for the hotel guests. So can you guess what number 8 is? We have 1 remaining. Very good. And presumably both for the visitors of the mall and for the hotel guests. Presumably, when you say something that is presumably, when you presume something, that you are assuming something. When you assume something, as we said before, that you think that this thing has this job for it. I presume that the garage is for the visitors of the mall and the hotel, because it's obvious in front of me both of the guests for the mall and the hotel park their car there. So I assume that the garage is for both the mall visitors and the hotel visitors. So presumably means assume. Number C here, read the following facts about another unusual hotel in another country. Then write a paragraph about it using adverbs of degree and sentence adverbs. The hotel is located on the Tone River, 124 miles or 200 kilometers north of the Arctic Circle. The hotel is the biggest igloo in the world. It melting when water turns from ice into liquid. It melts into the river every spring and is recreated every winter. The temperature inside the hotel is 23 Fahrenheit or -5 Celsius. So you read the following facts, these 4 facts about a hotel in another country, and you have to write a paragraph about it using the adverbs of degree and the sentence adverbs. As you can see the pictures here, of course the location 200 kilometers north the Arctic, it will be mostly ice and snow, and remember that the ice melts in the winter. So why do you think people would want to stay in this hotel? These are some questions that might or will help you order your ideas, reorganize your ideas when you want to write the paragraph. The first question, why do you think people would want to stay in this hotel? Would you like to stay there? That you know the hotel is very cold, extremely cold. Or is it going to be too cold for you? Would you like to stay there? What happens to the hotel every spring? What happens to the hotel every spring? Why do you think people would want to stay in this hotel? The hotel is the biggest igloo in the world, and it's also unique. It's made out of snow. It's interesting, very unique, and it's also the biggest igloo in the world. Would you like to stay there? Would you like to stay there? So this is, of course, is up to you. For me, I would say, yes, of course. I would like to try and stay there for a couple of days, maybe a week, if they gave me warm blankets, of course. What happens to the hotel every spring? If you remember the third point, every spring, what happens to the hotel, the whole hotel that is made of ice? Very good. It melts into the river. Then later, it's recreated again. So these might help you to write your paragraph. And with that, we reach to the end of lesson. See you next lesson, inshallah. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. السلام عليكم.